Chapter 34-31, got it? Wang Xian heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Enlai leaving. That tentacled desolate beast was a second-order universe sovereign realm expert. If Wang Xian had gone there alone, he might not have been able to survive. After all, he couldn't even sense the location of that wild beast through the 5 elements grindstone. Moreover, the wild beast's attack was terrifying. The dense tentacles covered the sky. Even at the last moment, Wang Xian couldn't see what kind of wild beast it was. Fortunately, Enlai had the protection of the ancient oil lamp. However, the attack just now had depleted a lot of vitality fluid. Even in the universe, the vitality liquid was considered a powerful treasure. Dragon King. At this time, Enlai flew over. Wang Xian nodded and took the water lotus from Enlai. When he saw the water lotus, his eyes lit up. The first water lotus he obtained had not fully bloomed. After absorbing a third-grade water lotus, it bloomed a lot. As for the water lotus he had just obtained, there was a flower bud on one of its 6 petals. The flower bud was very small, as if it was deformed. However, Wang Xian knew that this was the transformation of the water lotus during the evolution process. The energy contained in this water lotus far exceeded that of the water lotuses he had obtained before. Wang Xian kept it into his body and the 3 water lotuses began to fuse. I wonder if I can fuse them into a 9th-grade one. However, the possibility is slim. He mumbled to himself as he took a look at the ancient drawing. His eyes lit up. The ancient drawing also showed the water lotus. However, he would have to delve deeper to obtain it. If there was a second-order universe sovereign wild beast here, what about the deeper parts? Would it be the giant space beast guarding or an even stronger wild beast? However, it would at least be a second-order universe sovereign wild beast. Wang Xian was deep in thought. Dragon King, I think we can go again. If that giant space beast is here, it should be in the center. There are at most third-order universe sovereign wild beasts here. The ancient oil lamp should be able to hold them off. Enlai said from the side. Wang Xian looked at him. How much vitality fluid was consumed in that attack? About 1%. Enlai reported. Alright, let's try again. This time, it will be even more dangerous. Be careful. Wang Xian was prepared to give it one last shot. Regardless of success or failure, he would leave this place after this. Enlai nodded. His figure flashed and he immediately left. Wang Xian sensed it quietly. The 3rd water lotus was even deeper. Dark Arden's speed was very fast. This time, when he approached, Wang Xian still did not sense the presence of any wild beasts in the surroundings. Enlai, play it by ear. I can't help you, Wang Xian said to Enlai. Enlai scanned the surroundings. Without any hesitation, he teleported towards the water lotus. This time, he didn't do any scouting. He relied entirely on his speed and luck. Buzz. Enlai arrived in front of the water lotus. His eyes glowed as he grabbed it. Boom. But at this moment, an incomparably terrifying tentacle rose up. It was only a single tentacle, but it was hundreds of thousands of meters long. Enlai instantly felt his breathing become sluggish. The water around him stopped flowing. It was as if the entire space had been locked down. Ka-ka-ka. The ancient oil lamp on Enlai's body burned rapidly. The vitality fluid within it was depleting at a terrifying speed. What monster is this? Wang Xian held his breath when he sensed this extremely horrifying attack. Everything around him seemed to be locked down as the horrifying tentacle swept over. There were horrifying suction cups on the tentacle. Compared to the tentacle of the wild beast, it paled in comparison. Enlai, hurry up, Wang Xian urged. Enlai quickly kept the water lotus in front of him. Boom. In the next moment, the tentacle landed on Enlai and sent him flying. The ancient oil lamp began to flicker and the vitality fluid was emptied almost instantly. Swish, swish, swish. Without any hesitation, Enlai began to teleport rapidly. Swoosh. That terrifying tentacle immediately attacked the spot where Enlai had disappeared. A stream of water swept across billions of kilometers. Wang Xian, who was standing far away, could only feel a violent stream of water surging towards him. His pupils constricted and his face was filled with astonishment. Is this the universe dominator cosmic giant beast? Shouldn't be wrong. He murmured with astonishment in his eyes. This horrifying attack could kill Wang Xian instantly, especially the horrifying confinement ability. It was as though the water in that space was completely locked down. He took a deep breath. It was truly terrifying. Dragon King, we got it? And Lai appeared at the side. Oh no, return to the Dragon Palace immediately. However, at this moment, Wang Xian sensed an even more horrifying stream of water surging towards him. He hurriedly shouted at Enlai. As soon as he finished his sentence, his figure gradually disappeared. Enlai also disappeared without any hesitation. 5 seconds after they left, a humongous beast swam over. It looked like a huge octopus with hundreds of huge tentacles. Its head was triangular, like an extremely sharp weapon. It had 3 eyes and a vertical eye in the middle, which caused the surrounding water to be motionless. When it came here, it seemed to be the king of this space. Everything had to obey its orders. The surroundings were filled with dead silence. Only the humongous beast was staring at them coldly. Rumble, rumble, rumble. It raised its tentacles one by one. Within a radius of tens of billions of kilometers, everyone looked over in horror and fled in fear. This aura caused one to feel despair. Phew! At the same time, Wang Xian heaved a sigh of relief in the Dragon Palace. Enlai appeared nearby and wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. Dragon King, the vitality fluid in the ancient oil lamp was almost used up. If I was any slower, I might have died there. Was that a being at the level of the dominator of the universe? It should be. The vitality fluid in the oil lamp is also valuable. Wang Xian sighed. The vitality fluid was accumulated by the Dragon Palace over the years. Disregarding its value, it could still be bought with 1 or 2 acquired treasures. Now it was all gone. He had paid a huge price to get the water lotus. Dragon King, here you go. This water lotus contains more energy than the others. Enlai handed the water lotus over. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows when he saw it. Fortunately, this water lotus is very valuable. He looked at the grade 6 water lotus that had 2 flower buds and revealed a smile. Chapter 34-32. This water lotus had 2 flower buds, and the 3rd flower bud was already faintly visible. The 2 flower buds weren't small anymore. It was very likely that it would advance to the 9th stage water lotus very soon. Of course, this was very fast, but it would also take a long time. If these 4 water lotuses are fused together, there might be a slight chance for it to rise to the 9th grade water lotus. Looking at the 4 water lotuses on the progenitor tree, Wang Xian revealed a faint smile. He informed the heavenly formation and ordered it to set up a demon soul altar. Following Enlai's lead, he arrived at the cave residence on Lotus Peak. Enlai, I have a mission for you. Take the 5 elements grindstone and search for water lotuses in the eternal heaven river. Don't go near the giant star beast. Wang Xian did not let Enlai leave as he instructed him. Although Enlai no longer had the protection of the ancient oil lamp, as long as he didn't go to the giant star beast's location, he should be safe with the protection of the 5 elements grindstone. Enlai's speed was faster than Wang Xian's. It would be more convenient for him to search. Yes, Dragon King. Enlai nodded. At the side, Tianjin was studying the array. Wang Xian did not interrupt him and flew to the entrance of the cave abode. I heard that the center of the eternal river of heaven is surging with terrifying waves, and a terrifying might is wreaking havoc in the surroundings. I've also heard about it. It should be the giant star beast that came out. Isn't this too terrifying? Some people have already slipped away recently. They're afraid that the giant star beast will go berserk. Otherwise, we won't be able to escape even if we wanted to. As soon as Zhang Xian walked out of the cavern, he heard some voices. His eyes flickered. With that space beast's terrifying power, the moment it charged over, its restrictive energy would make it hard for universe supremacies to escape. The sovereign of the universe. What was a sovereign? It was someone who could rule over a part of the world. This was especially true for water attribute experts in rivers and oceans. their strength would be amplified even more. Senior Azure Dragon Moon. In front of Qing Longyue's cave abode, more than 10 flustered figures flew over. They came to the front of the cave and bowed respectfully. Hey, these 10-odd people are disciples of the divine dragon bloodline. Wang Xian's dragon eyes glimmered as he looked at their bloodlines. Then he shook his head. The dragon palace couldn't compare to the number of the ancestral dragon's bloodline. Before they disbanded, they had tens of millions of disciples. Now that the ancestral Gragon had been disbanded for tens of millions of years, the number of disciples would probably increase again. Of course, it was also possible that there were fewer of them. After all, the outside world was dangerous. More than a dozen disciples of the ancestral dragon lineage bowed in front of the Azure Dragon Moon cave abode and quickly entered. Wang Xian looked around before returning to his cave abode. He sensed the fusion of the water lotus. At this speed, it would probably take 1 to 2 years. He was not in a hurry. In the desolate continent, a year or two passed in the blink of an eye. Wang Xian returned to the cave abode and checked some information on the universe AI. Time passed day by day. 10 days later, good news came from Enlai's side. He had obtained a water lotus. Although it was a 3rd-grade water lotus, it was still not bad. After sending it over, he immediately went out. If other experts wanted to find the water lotus, they would have to search carefully. They would even have to search everywhere. How big was the Eternal Heaven River? Even a first-order sovereign realm expert would need hundreds of millions of years to search through every corner of the city. Therefore, if others wanted to find the water lotus, they would have to rely on their luck. If he was lucky, he would be able to get one. If he was unlucky, he might not be able to get one even after staying here for millions of years. However, other than the water lotus, there were other treasures in the Eternal Heaven River, such as divine trees, divine herbs, divine fruits, etc. However, Enlai was different. Enlai could teleport. With the ancient map, he could search every region rapidly. Based on his speed, he could search every corner of the Eternal Heaven River in a few years' time, except for the central region. For the next period of time, he stayed quietly in the cave abode. One by one, the water lotus was sent over by Enlai. Within a short period of time, he had found more than 20 water lotus of 3rd grade and 6th grade. Among them, there were 10 6th grade, which was beyond Wang Xian's expectations. He was slightly excited about this. The 9th grade water lotus was stable. There was a 100% chance of fusion. He might even be able to get 2 9th grade water lotus. This was much better than risking his life in the central region. Another year passed in a flash. On this day, Wang Xian felt a majestic water energy surging within his body. A phantom of a lotus gradually appeared in front of him. Has it fused into a 9th grade water lotus? Wang Xian sensed the energy and looked at the phantom in front of him. His eyes were shining. With a thought, a 2-meter water lotus appeared in front of him. The entire water lotus contained a majestic life force and water energy circulating. Wang Xian looked at it with astonishment. The water energy was much stronger than inborn spiritual treasures. This was an existence that was above inborn spiritual treasures but below inborn cardinal treasures. Wang Xian moved and sat cross-legged on the water lotus. Streams of water flowed around his body, making him feel exceptionally comfortable. The water lotus focuses on defense and cultivation. It's also very strong in attack. This is a powerful treasure that combines offense and defense with cultivation. No wonder the water lotus is so valuable. He murmured to himself. Sitting on it, he felt a little sacred. This water lotus could be used as an inborn spiritual treasure weapon. It could also be absorbed. After absorbing it, one could understand the essence of the water lotus. Perhaps, it could help one understand a powerful attack. Hee. Wang Xian chuckled with a satisfied look on his face. On the progenitor tree, there were still a bunch of water lotuses fusing. Based on the number of water lotuses, it shouldn't be a problem to fuse them into 3 more. However, it might be difficult to fuse them into a Tier 12 water lotus. This would require at least a dozen Tier 9 water lotuses. However, he was already very satisfied with what he had gained. With the water lotus, His strength could be enhanced further. In the past, it was 1 against 3. Now it was 1 against 4. Senior Qing Longyue, save me. At this moment, a horrifying cry for help came from outside. Wang Xian was taken aback. He moved and flew out. Boom. At the entrance, Wang Xian saw a few disciples from the divine dragon lineage escaping in his direction with the imprisonment circles above their heads. Behind them, a dozen figures were chasing after them. A disciple who had transformed into a divine dragon had his head pierced by a sharp sword. Courting death. An angry voice came from within Qing Longyue's cave abode. A green divine dragon flew out and transformed into a green dragon. It had directly turned into an azure dragon. One could imagine how furious it was. Shit, run. The dozen figures who were chasing after Qing Longyue had a drastic change of expression as they fled immediately. Chapter 34-33, Whoosh Whoosh Whoosh. The moment Azure Dragon Moon charged out, the group of pursuers had a drastic change of expression. Their bodies started to turn illusory as they fled immediately. Even though Azure Dragon Moon was strong, he was still too far away. Hence, they managed to escape. This caused him to be extremely embarrassed. He moved and caught the body of the ancestral dragon bloodline disciple with his dragon claws. After checking, he revealed a regretful expression. Sir, let's accompany him. The other 4 ancestral dragon bloodline disciples flew over and looked over with an extremely ugly expression. Their hearts sank and they could not help but ask. He's dead. Azure Dragon Moon said with a cold gaze. Sir, the experts from the sacred dragon bloodline are hunting our ancestral dragon bloodline disciples. Moreover, a few days ago, the 100 Cities Alliance posted a bounty for our ancestral dragon bloodline disciples. Anyone who kills our ancestral dragon bloodline disciples will be rewarded handsomely. Sir, what should we do now? One of the ancestral dragon bloodline disciples could not help but kneel in front of him and asked furiously. A bounty from the 100 Cities Alliance? Azure Dragon Moon's expression changed slightly and his eyes were filled with anger. Follow me into the cave abode. As he spoke, he moved and brought the corpse into the cave abode. The other 4 ancestral dragon bloodline disciples followed immediately. Wang Xian looked over and frowned slightly. He turned on the Universe AI and searched for the bounty from the 100 Cities Alliance. The bounty from the 100 Cities Alliance was not a bounty to deal with the ancestral dragon bloodline. Instead, it was a bounty issued by someone else and it appeared in the mission hall of the 100 Cities Alliance. Under normal circumstances, the 100 Cities Alliance would not do something like this, especially when it was a powerful force like the ancestral dragon bloodline. However, there were many reasons for the bounty to appear in the 100 Cities Alliance. The force that issued the bounty did not hide anything. The sacred dragon bloodline. The ancestral dragon bloodline and the sacred dragon bloodline were the strongest divine dragon bloodline in Chaotic Continent. One of them was extremely powerful and was only a step away from the Universe Lord realm. The other was equally powerful and had become a subsidiary race of the angel race. The clash between these two races would definitely be terrifying. The sacred dragon bloodline and the ancestral dragon bloodline are actually fighting? What's the reason? Why did the 100 Cities Alliance agree to the sacred dragon bloodline's bounty? Is it because of the benefits, or because of the angel race? Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he read the message. This was a big deal. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment before flying to the front of the Green Dragon Lunar Cave. Wang Xian is here to pay a visit. He shouted directly at the door. Brother Wang Xian, please enter. Azure Dragon Moon's voice rang out. He flew in and saw Azure Dragon Moon sitting in the center of the hall. There were hundreds of figures in the surroundings. When Xiaochen looked around, he saw that they were all divine dragon bloodlines. Clearly, they were disciples of the ancestor dragon bloodline. It seemed that more than 1 or 2 disciples of the ancestral dragon's lineage had come to seek refuge with him during this period. Brother Qing Longyue, sorry to disturb you. Wang Xian cupped his fists at him. Please take a seat, Brother Wang Xian. The Azure Dragon Moon gestured to him. Brother Azure Dragon Moon, I won't beat around the bush. What happened between the ancestral dragon and the sacred dragon bloodline? What's with the 100 Cities Alliance? Wang Xian sat down and asked directly. That damned sacred dragon bloodline. The Azure Dragon Moon was enraged. Based on the news I received, the sacred dragon god had a conflict with our leader. Our leader killed the eldest son of the sacred dragon god. Now they are taking revenge on us. As for the 100 Cities Alliance, I don't know the exact situation. Perhaps the angel tribe has pressured them, or perhaps the sacred dragon bloodline has reached an agreement with them. Up till now, 1 million disciples of the ancestral dragon bloodline have been killed. He spoke slowly and clenched his fists. Then, what did the ancestral dragon lord say? Wang Xian asked with a surprised look. This might also involve the angel tribe. A month ago, our leader sent out a message. One can only reach the pinnacle in the face of adversity. Either we rise from the ashes, or we suffer annihilation. Our leader did not divulge any more details. The ancestral dragon bloodline had been separated for tens of millions of years. Therefore he did not know much. Did any experts from the 100 Cities Alliance attack the disciples of the ancestral dragon bloodline? As Wang Xian spoke, he looked at the disciples of the ancestral dragon lineage around him. Not yet, but it's hard to say in the future. However, the 100 Cities Alliance has also made a statement that they are only issuing this bounty, and this bounty has nothing to do with the 100 Cities Alliance. If any city forces participate, it has nothing to do with them, and they will not participate. Azure Dragon Moon shook his head. What the 100 Cities Alliance meant was that they would only provide this bounty platform and would not participate in it. The 100 Cities Alliance's cities participating were their own actions and had nothing to do with the Alliance. The Alliance would not pay for the actions of this city or help them. You can only reach the pinnacle in the face of adversity. The ancestral dragon chief is really bold. Brother Azure Dragon, if you need any help in the future, you can look for me. In this battle, I will stand on your side. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. Now the disciples of Dragon Palace had begun to move around in the primitive continent. They were people with the divine dragon bloodline, so they would definitely be recognized as disciples of the ancestral dragon's bloodline. This was a war. They would be dragged into this as well. However, Wang Xian did not mind. If the ancestral dragon and the sacred dragon bloodline were to fight, he would not hesitate to stand on the side of the ancestral dragon bloodline. A divine dragon bloodline that had submitted to another race had lost the dignity of the divine dragon. They were traitors of the divine dragon bloodline. They could live, but they could not be lackeys. They had to have a bottom line. Moreover, the war between the sacred dragon bloodline and the ancestral dragon bloodline would not be easy. The disciples of the ancestral dragon bloodline were scattered and could not fight. The sacred dragon bloodline could only use this method to hunt down the members of the ancestral dragon bloodline. Perhaps the ancestral dragon chief was waiting for the disciples of the sacred dragon bloodline to assassinate them. It was hard to say. If they really fought, it would take millions of years to finish. The Dragon Palace could also train by mixing in with them. The combined strength of the Dragon Palace was equivalent to the strength of 2 to 3 cities in the 100 Cities Alliance. Even if they joined in, they would not change much. Thank you, Brother Wang Xian. Azure Dragon Moon stood up and thanked him. You're welcome. Be careful, Brother Azure Dragon Moon. Look for me if you need anything. Wang Xian cupped his fists and left. Around them, the disciples of the ancestral dragon bloodline looked at Wang Xian in shock. Go and contact them. If there are any disciples who can't find a safe place, they can come to the Eternal River. Azure Dragon Moon looked at the disciples and said in a deep voice, Sir. The disciples of the ancestral dragon bloodline answered respectfully. Chapter 34:34. The situation of the ancestral dragon disciples doesn't look optimistic. Wang Xian returned to his cave abode and checked the various messages on the universe AI while mumbling to himself. As the sacred dragon bloodline was backed by the Angel Clan, they were able to issue bounties in the 100 Cities Alliance. Once the bounty was announced, people would be tempted to kill the ancestral dragon's disciples in exchange for the bounty. This was extremely dangerous for the disciples of the ancestral dragon. But the situation is not out of control yet. Wang Xian mumbled to himself as he cultivated in the cave abode. Dragon King, the atmosphere outside doesn't seem right. 2 months later, Enlai delivered a Tier 3 water lotus and suddenly said to Wang Xian, something was wrong? What's wrong? Wang Xian was slightly taken aback. The atmosphere is a little tense, and the number of people in the surroundings has clearly decreased. Everyone outside is talking about the 100 Cities Alliance and the ancestral dragon's bloodline. Enlai said. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. He switched on the universe AI and continued to search for information. When he saw the content, he raised his eyebrows slightly. In the 100 Cities Alliance, experts from 2 cities besieged an expert from the ancestral dragon bloodline and killed him. Why did they attack the experts of the ancestral dragon's bloodline? The overall strength of the ancestral dragon bloodline is much stronger than the entire 100 Cities Alliance. Aren't they afraid of retaliation for attacking the experts of the ancestral dragon bloodline? Wang Xian was deeply puzzled. The ancestral dragon bloodline was not weak, and their leader was known as the strongest person under the universe ruler. The strength of the 100 Cities Alliance could not withstand the revenge of the ancestral dragon's bloodline, let alone just 2 cities. Is there any inside story or what? Wang Xian frowned. With a swift move, he flew out. There were obviously fewer people outside, but there were many disciples of the ancestral dragon's bloodline around. Clearly, some of the disciples were here to seek refuge with Azure Dragon Moon. Wang Xian squinted his eyes as he leaned against the side of the cave abode and watched quietly. Perhaps because there were more disciples of the ancestral dragon's lineage here, the atmosphere was slightly tense. Not long ago, experts from the 100 Cities Alliance had surrounded and killed a First-Order sovereign from the ancestral dragon bloodline. No one knew if they would attack the Azure Dragon Moon. Everyone knew that the ancestral dragon lineage had an Azure Dragon here. Wang Xian was deep in thought. Could it be that the angel race was involved? Otherwise, how could any city in the 100 Cities Alliance dare to participate? Wang Xian shook his head and entered the cave abode. He took a look at the water lotus on the ancestral tree and smiled. There were a total of 4 9th-grade water lotuses. However, other than the area where the water from the sky fell, Enlai had basically searched all the other areas. Boom boom boom. You're courting death. Half a month later, a roar suddenly sounded, accompanied by a dragon's roar. As soon as Wang Xian heard the voice, he flew out of the room immediately. Sky Formation, Water Dragon Leader, come out. At the same time, he lightly shouted, and 2 figures immediately followed behind him. After Shui Linglong's father broke through, he came over. Wang Xian flew out of the cave abode and looked outside. Outside, the 4 of them wore masks of light on their heads. The masks emitted light, completely concealing their figures. The 4 of them surrounded Azure Dragon Moon in the center. Azure Dragon Moon transformed into his human form and looked coldly at the 4 people around him. You are from the 100 Cities Alliance? Which city are you from? Do you know that you're digging your own grave? Azure Dragon Moon stared at them with a violent look on his face. We're not from the 100 Cities Alliance. Hee, Azure Dragon Moon, you don't have to threaten us. The ancestral dragon bloodline is doomed. Today will be the day you die. One of the 4 said eerily. Do you think you can kill me with just the 4 of you? Azure Dragon Moon laughed heartily. He swayed his dragon body, and the wood attribute energy swept across the surroundings. Everyone, large-scale battles are prohibited in the Lotus Peak. Please go to the sky. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude. Azure Dragon Moon, you know the rules here. At this time, the cave masters appeared one after another in the cave abode. Out of the 12 cave masters, 6 city lords walked out. They gave a faint warning. We know the rules. Azure Dragon Moon, I've locked onto you. Even if you escape to your own holy kingdom, we'll be able to find you quickly. Surrender and prepare to die. An old voice said faintly. It was obvious that they had come prepared. Azure Dragon Moon's cold eyes swept across the area below. There were thousands of divine dragon bloodline disciples below. Among you, there are disciples of the sacred dragon bloodline. There are traitors. He said coldly. Given Azure Dragon Moon's strength, it was impossible for him not to do something when the ancestral dragon bloodline was in such a situation. For example, if there were experts coming, he could lead the disciples away. Now that the other party had suddenly charged over, not only did he not notice it, but even the array he had set up in the cave abode temporarily lost its effect. Therefore, there were people from the sacred dragon bloodline among them. Who did this? Damn it, there's a traitor among us. The thousands of disciples of the ancestral dragon bloodline looked at each other. All of them looked exceptionally embarrassed. Wang Xian looked over and frowned. There were pros and cons to the disbandment of the ancestral dragon bloodline. After tens of millions of years, some members were still loyal to their leader and the ancestral dragon bloodline. However, some might have been subdued by the sacred dragon bloodline and were hiding among the crowd. It seems like the war between the ancestral dragon and the sacred dragon bloodline has been planned for a long time. Wang Xian thought to himself. The teleportation formation wasn't the only problem with Azure Dragon Moon. His aura might have been locked on by the other party. There were grand sorcerers among the other party. Come on up, Azure Dragon Moon. You can't escape. The masked man flew into the sky and taunted Azure Dragon Moon. Haha, I'm not saying this, but if you guys want to kill me, at least 2 or 3 of you will die. Azure Dragon Moon roared and flew into the sky. The other 3 masked figures around him immediately launched an attack. The other party had come prepared for the hunting war. They would not show any mercy. Dragon King, Tianjin looked at the battle that broke out in the sky and transmitted his voice to Wang Xian. Go and get ready. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he ordered. Swish. At this moment, Wang Xian sensed a figure moving. The figure charged towards the group of ancestral dragon bloodline disciples in front of Azure Dragon Cave abode. Wang Xian was stunned when he saw the figure who suddenly attacked. Chapter 34-35. A snow-white figure charged towards the thousands of disciples below the ancestral dragon's bloodline. He was enveloped in water and looked like a puddle of special water as he ran. He did not have a physical form and looked extremely creepy. This was a special living being. Wang Xian squinted his eyes as they glistened. There were experts who wanted to attack the ancestral dragon bloodline. It seemed that they had come prepared this time. If Wang Xian was not wrong, this figure was the Water Master Cave Master. Qing Longyue had warned him not to challenge the Eternal Heaven Cave Master, the Ice Emperor Cave Master, and the Water Master Cave Master. For Qing Longyue to say such a thing, it was a recognition of their strength. Isn't it a little shameless for a universe dominator to ambush a group of universe supremacies? Wang Xian moved at this moment. If he did not make a move, the 1,000 disciples of the ancestral dragon bloodline would all die. The water that was charging towards the disciples of the ancestral dragon bloodline paused for a moment. Looking at Wang Xian, who had suddenly appeared in front of him, he narrowed his eyes. Hee, so you still interfered. A new expert of the ancestral dragon bloodline? The Water Master Cave Master did not seem too surprised by Wang Xian's action. From the battle between Wang Xian and the female demon, all the experts could tell that he was also an expert of the divine dragon bloodline. In addition, Wang Xian had entered Qing Longyue's cave abode twice, which was witnessed by everyone. They already had some guesses and were on guard against Wang Xian. I'm not from the ancestral dragon bloodline, but I'm very unhappy with the lackeys of the divine dragon bloodline. Wang Xian shook his head slightly as he spoke plainly. Since you're from the ancestral dragon bloodline, I don't care if you're a disciple of the ancestral dragon bloodline. You have to die. Killing you is much more worthwhile than killing 1,000 disciples of the ancestral dragon bloodline. I'm going to exchange your body for treasures. After finishing his sentence, he moved instantly. The water was his body, allowing him to transform at will. He took the form of a water divine dragon and reached out with his dragon claws. This Water Master Cave Master, one of the 12 Cave Masters, also wants to become enemies with our ancestral dragon bloodline? Fortunately, Lord Wang Xian intervened. Otherwise, we would be finished. Damn it, there's a traitor among us, and there are experts who want to kill us. They definitely came prepared. In front of the Green Dragon Moon Cave abode, A group of ancestral dragon's disciples looked at the scene with extremely ugly expressions. Just now, the Water Master Cave Master's attack made them feel the arrival of death. Fortunately, a lord suddenly popped out. Otherwise, they would not be able to escape this calamity. How dare you be so arrogant with a fake divine dragon body? Wang Xian stared coldly at the transformation of the water mage. Boom! His body shook, and clouds and mist appeared around him. Go fight in the sky immediately! Around them, the group of cave masters saw the situation over here, and their expressions turned slightly ugly as they warned coldly. Voila! The water mage and Wang Xian did not violate the rules here. They were also afraid of disturbing that terrifying giant star beast. The clouds and mist shrouded the water mage completely. However, he didn't seem to be able to see with his eyes as he attacked Wang Xian directly. I'm going to annihilate you today. The water mage revealed a strong sense of confidence. He roared, use your body as an array formation. Not a single drop of water can leak through. Clearly, he was very confident in his own strength. His body shook, and the water droplets formed a line, scattering around him. These water droplets formed an array in the void. Under this array, one could only return to his own holy kingdom in an instant after breaking the array. Very good. I like your confidence. Wang Xian chuckled. Within his body, chains extended towards the surroundings in a frenzy and sealed off a portion of the void. Thank you, brother Wang Xian, for your help. Be careful, this water mage's attack is very unpredictable. At this time, Green Dragon Moon's anxious voice came from afar. Wang Xian swept his gaze across. Green Dragon Moon was completely suppressed under the siege of 4 First Order Universe Sovereigns. However, he was a wood-attributed divine dragon, and his strongest attribute was his recovery ability. They would need at least some time to kill Green Dragon Moon. However, Green Dragon Moon had been locked down. Even if he tried to escape, he would be pursued. To them, Green Dragon Moon was dead for sure. However, it would take some time. Don't worry. Wang Xian smiled faintly. Previously, when he killed Cave Master Demonis, he had only used 1/5 of his strength. This time, he wouldn't hold back. The unbeginning Saint wings flapped violently, and he disappeared instantly. That's fast. However, I can sense everything about you. The Water Mage Cave Master sensed Wang Xian's speed, and his expression changed slightly. When Wang Xian appeared, a bubble appeared in front of him. It wrapped around him. Such fast reflexes. He can even track where I'm flying. Wang Xian was taken aback, but he wasn't bothered. With a wave of his arm, the 5 Elements Grindstone attacked the Water Mage Cave Master. Boom! The 5 Elements Grindstone attacked, and the 5 elements began to revolve. The entire 5 Elements Grindstone turned red, an incomparably horrifying flame. Suddenly it exploded, as though the entire sky was covered in flames. Ka. What? The sudden appearance of the 5 Elements Grindstone and the sudden burst of power caught the Water Mage Cave Master off guard. Cracks also appeared on the impenetrable array that sealed the void around him. Wang Xian's eyes were cold. In a flash, his arm turned into a flaming dragon claw. Boom! The appearance of the flame seemed to have caused the Water Mage Cave Master to lose his strong senses. Wang Xian appeared at his side and blasted at the water dragon body that he had transformed into. A blood-curdling scream came from the mouth of the Water Mage Grotto Master, as lotus petals slowly appeared around him. Each petal had an incomparably strong defense. This is the water lotus. No, he must have consumed the water lotus and comprehended the powerful law of defense. Wang Xian focused his gaze, and his eyes flickered. However, you still have to die. Wang Xian waved his arm, and 4 Tier 9 water lotus appeared around him, pressing down on him. What? How is this possible? When the Water Mage Cave Master saw the 4 Tier 9 water lotus, he was dumbfounded and was filled with disbelief. How did he get 4 Tier 9 water lotus? He had stayed in the Eternal River for more than 1 billion years before he obtained a Tier 9 water lotus. He had consumed it and comprehended the powerful law of defense. This guy who had just arrived not long ago had a total of 4. Chapter 34-36. The ninth-grade water lotus floated in the air. What did 4 ninth-grade water lotuses mean? Even Wang Xian found it difficult to control it. He also needed the support of the 5 elements grindstone. The more treasures a person had, the better it would be. Especially treasures of a very high level like the water lotus. Generally, weapons such as connate numinous treasures had to be controlled by humans. A powerhouse couldn't control countless treasures without limit. It had to be controlled with energy. This was different from the 5 elemental grindstone. The 5 elemental grindstone was the dragon soul that Wang Xian had nurtured with the dragon blood by chance. The dragon soul was equivalent to a doppelganger that controlled the 5 elemental grindstone. Treasures like this were extremely rare. The power of a grade 9 lotus flower was very strong, but it was also very difficult to control 4 grade 9 lotus flowers. But Wang Xian could. Lotus, bloom, petals, kill. 4 ninth grade lotuses spun and bloomed, attacking the water mage grotto master. No, why do you have so many water lotuses? When the water mage cave master saw the beautiful and murderous water lotuses, his body trembled violently. He had been here for such a long time, but he had only found a 9th grade water lotus, which he had swallowed. This guy actually had 4 of them. 4 9th grade water lotuses were equivalent to a dozen connate spiritual treasures. The power of these connate numinous treasures was unimaginable. Not to mention that there was an even more terrifying 5 elements grindstone in the surroundings. The flames of the 5 elements grindstone engulfed the surroundings, melting the water energy in the entire space. The water mage cave master had suffered a terrifying attack. Boom boom boom. One by one, the petals landed on his body, causing his body of water energy to crumble. His body was like a puddle of water. To be able to cultivate to such a level was extremely miraculous. However, when the water lotus attack landed on him, he could sense the water mage cave master's life force rapidly disappearing. Something's not right. Although the rank 9 water lotus's attack can melt his life force, it can't kill him. Is it because of his special body? Wang Xian murmured. His body shook and he felt as though he was covered in mud. The 5 elements grindstone began to circulate, transferring the fire energy to the earth energy. It was true that the elements countered each other, and earth countered water. Time Changsha cover? Wang Xian let out a deep roar. Countless amounts of earth attribute energy transformed into a tidal wave that flooded forward. Why do you have so many attributes? Cave Master Water's eyes widened, filled with disbelief. His body, which was covered in water, trembled violently. Die. Wang Xian's face turned cold as the sand current covered him completely. Return. The 5 elements grindstone floated above the water wizard cave master. The bodies covered in mud entered the 5 elements grindstone. It really is a very special creature. Wang Xian revealed a smile. With a wave of his arm, he kept the corpse of the water mage grotto master into his pouch. The water mage grotto master's corpse was a silvery white stream of water. Even after death, it still contained an enormous amount of energy. This corpse is really special. It can be refined into a weapon, and it can also be absorbed by the water lotus. Wang Xian murmured as his eyes flickered. He put it away and looked at the sky to the side. 4 first-order sovereigns surrounded Azure Dragon Moon, and they began to fight. The sudden end of the battle on Wang Xian's side seemed to have attracted their attention. How is this possible? The water mage cave master's vitality is gone. The 4 of them looked over and their eyes flickered. Do it. At this moment, Wang Xian dashed out. Rumble, rumble, rumble. He bellowed. At the same time, a roar and a wave of horrifying energy wreaked havoc in the surroundings. A water divine dragon rushed out from below, swaying its huge body and coming to their side. Following which, the entire sky seemed to be covered by a rag, separating it into a special dark space. The array had shrouded the entire space. What? There's an ambush. Shit. There are experts from the ancestral dragon bloodline here. The 4 experts' faces changed when they saw this. Swish, swish, swish. Wang Xian flew over and came to their right in an instant. Below, Enlai also flew over slowly and came to the other side. 3. There are still 3 experts from the ancestral dragon bloodline here. It seems like we have underestimated you guys. The figure in the middle who was holding a staff swept his gaze across Wang Xian's sky formation, the water dragon leader, and the rest with cold eyes. Hehe, we are not from the ancestral dragon bloodline. We just don't like you guys. Wang Xian said plainly. He looked at Qing Longyue and asked, Brother Qing Longyue, are you all right? Thank you for your help, brother. Azure Dragon Moon looked at the heavenly formation and the water dragon chief with some surprise in his eyes. He had not expected Wang Xian to have 2 such experts on his side. Together with Wang Xian, they had nothing to fear when it was 4 against 4. In fact, they might even have the upper hand. You are not from the ancestral dragon bloodline and yet you dare to get involved in this mess. You really don't know what's good for you. A figure in a white mask stared at Wang Xian and the rest. Hehe, you guys are not from the sacred dragon bloodline either. Since you guys dare to get involved, why can't I? Wang Xian squinted his eyes and continued, moreover. You guys will be the ones dying today. Presumptuous. Even if we can't annihilate you guys this time, we will be able to annihilate you guys next time. The old voice spoke again. They scanned their surroundings. Let's go. As soon as he finished his sentence, he flew back with the staff in his hand. Swoosh. Seeing that they wanted to leave, Wang Xian flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and revealed a faint smile. How can we leave so easily? As he spoke, he had already arrived behind them. The 4 experts in the radiant mask were taken aback as they revealed a sinister look in their eyes. How presumptuous of you. Do you think you can keep us here? One of the figures said coldly. Why don't you guys give it a try? Wang Xian smiled and raised his palm slowly. In one hand was the 5 elements grinder and the other was the 9th grade water lotus flower. Brother Qing Longyue, let's annihilate them today. Don't let them escape. He bellowed as he flung out the water lotus flower and the 5 elements grinder. His arms turned into dragon claws and clawed at the 4 experts. Ha, great. Seeing that Wang Xian wanted to keep them here, Qing Longyue's eyes lit up. He laughed out loud as he swayed his huge body and swept his dragon tail across. Courting death. Do you really think we are pushovers? So what if you guys are divine dragons? The 4 experts were infuriated as they roared. Chapter 34-37 The Water Divine Dragon and Azure Dragon roared. The leader of the Water Dragon Palace, Azure Dragon Moon, and the rest roared and attacked the 4 of them. The 5 elements grindstone and the Tier 9 Water Lotus also unleashed terrifying power. Wang Xian stood at the back, licked his lips, flapped his unbeginning saint wings, and disappeared instantly. Watch out. The 4 of them were shocked when they sensed the location of the 5 elements grindstone. The 4 of them huddled together and quickly put up a strong defense. Attack! Wang Xian bellowed. His arm turned into a dragon claw, and grayish energy rushed out. Boom, boom, boom. Azure Dragon Moon, the heavenly array, the leader of the water dragon, and the 5 elements grindstone and water lotus exploded with energy towards them. Looking at the incoming attack, the 4 of them were shocked again. This is bad. Their attacks are terrifying. Defend with all your might. The figure holding the magic staff roared with a face full of shock and anger. 4 against 4. To them, there was no danger at all. Even if the guy who appeared out of nowhere killed the water cave master, they thought it was a sneak attack from the other 2 experts. However, sensing the terrifying attack, they knew it wasn't the case. Be it the creepy attack from the array master or the round disc filled with deathly energy, they were all horrifying. They definitely couldn't defend against such an attack one-on-one. Give it your all? One of the figures with the radiant mask bellowed. His arm enlarged and blocked in front of him. The other 3 felt their hearts racing. They took out their strongest inborn spiritual treasures and acquired cardinal treasures to defend. Brother Wang Xian is so strong. Are they his subordinates? They are equally strong. Azure Dragon Moon sensed the attacks around him and was delighted. Boom! Terrifying collisions reverberated and the energy in the sky surged in all directions. What? There seems to be a change in the battle in the sky. There are experts on Azure Dragon Moon's side. Azure Dragon Moon has helpers. It seems like the ancestral dragon lineage is ready. Great! We still have experts on our side. That's great! Exclamations of shock and astonishment came from below. They were astounded by the terrifying collisions in the sky. This terrifying energy fluctuation made even the cave master's hearts palpitate endlessly. That new cave master is very strong. Was cave master Water Mage killed, or did he escape? A few of the cave masters raised their heads to look, but they couldn't see clearly due to the distance. However, they could sense that there were at least 8 first-order sovereigns in the sky. Oh no. In front of a cave abode, an old man looked up into the sky and his eyebrows twitched. His body trembled, and an identical figure separated from his body and disappeared in an instant. Pu. At the same time, in the sky, 4 figures wearing light masks coughed up blood. Their faces were filled with shock. Under that terrifying attack just now, they had been seriously injured. The opponent's attack was extremely terrifying. They felt as though they weren't facing 4 first-order sovereigns, but 10 or more. We can't fight them. The enemy's array master has already sealed the space around us. The 4 of them looked at each other, and the figure holding the staff said with an ugly expression, "Break this sealing formation for us." One of the burly figures let out a low roar, and his voice traveled very far. Wang Xian heard the roar and squinted his eyes. His figure flickered, and in an instant he appeared beside the expert with the staff, and clawed at him with his dragon claws. What a fast speed! No wonder the Water Mage Cave Master was killed. His speed is comparable to a second-order universe sovereign. The figure holding the staff had a drastic change in his expression as he raised his innate spiritual treasure to block the attack. Boom! Another terrifying collision was heard, and the figure holding the staff was sent flying. Once again he spat out large amounts of blood. Wang Xian's figure flickered, and in an instant he appeared on the other side of the figure. Save him! The other 3 immediately roared. Waves of energy enveloped the area around the expert with the staff. Tianjin bellowed, and with a wave of his hand, several arrays were formed and launched towards them. Green Dragon Moon and the Water Dragon Chief swayed their huge bodies, and their dragon tails swept across. Streaks of elemental dragon tails swept across heaven and earth. No, we are no match for them. Defend, defend again. The burly figure roared. Break through the defense of the array, quick. He continued to shout, and his eyes were filled with anxiety and fear. They were no match for them. They were no match at all. If this dragged on, they would all be killed. The 4 of them gathered together, and with their backs against each other, they erected layers of defense. Another barrage of attacks landed on them. 2 of them raised their arms, but their arms were instantly disintegrated. Continue, they seemed to have accomplices. Wang Xian bellowed and continued to attack. Boom! But at this time, a loud roar came from behind. Dragon King, there are first-order universe sovereigns outside trying to break the array. Tianjin immediately swept over and bellowed. Hold them off. Let's move quickly. Wang Xian bellowed and looked at Green Dragon Moon. The Green Dragon Moon's eyes were filled with violence. This time, so many first-order universe sovereigns were mobilized to kill him. If not for Wang Xian, he would have died today. Oh no, Dragon King, the array has been broken. They have inborn spiritual treasures. At this time, Tianjin's voice came. Continue to kill. Even if we break it, they can forget about escaping. The unbeginning sacred wings on Wang Xian's back exploded, turning into lightning needles, and struck at the 4 of them. Wings of the King of Angels, run. Just you wait, your ancestral dragon will be annihilated. At this time, a pair of radiant wings rose from the center of the 4 of them. The radiant wings enveloped them completely. Wang Xian's lightning attack landed on it, but it was blocked. The annihilation spear of the 5 elements grindstone struck on it, but it did not budge. The defense of the Angel Clan. Seeing the radiant wings, Green Dragon Moon's face turned ugly. The other party had such a powerful protective treasure of the light attribute. Even if the Angel clan did not participate directly, they were indirectly involved. After all, such a defensive treasure was not easy to obtain. Under the cover of the wings of the King of Angels, the four of them gradually disappeared. They had escaped back to their own holy kingdoms, the Angel clan. Looking at the radiant wings, Green Dragon Moon trembled, and his face turned ugly. Chapter 34-38. Above the Lotus Peak, the energy dissipated as Wang Xian and the rest hovered in the air. The four masked figures had already disappeared. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows slightly. This time, a total of 6 First-Order sovereigns had come to kill Qing Longyue. There were 4 people in the open and 2 in the dark. This was a huge scene. He was going to kill Azure Dragon Moon. If he hadn't acted, Azure Dragon Moon would have been doomed. Thank you for your help, Brother Wang Xian. Qing Longyue's expression changed as he looked at Wang Xian and bowed respectfully. You're welcome. Wang Xian replied with a smile. Brother Azure Dragon, you have to be careful in the future. The other party is very strong. The cities of the 100-City Alliance have made their move, and the number of cities that have made their move is more than we expected. Azure Dragon Moon said with an unsightly expression. Furthermore, the Angel tribe has also indirectly acted. They want to destroy our dragon ancestors' bloodline. What does Brother Azure Dragon want to do now? He asked. The experts of the ancestral dragon lineage should have started to deal with it. It was not good for him to participate in such matters. I'll get in touch with the other experts from the ancestral dragon lineage to find out which city has attacked us. Brother Wang, you have to be careful. The other party might drag you into this. Azure Dragon Moon reminded. Rest assured. Wang Xian replied with a smile. I'll go and settle some matters first. I, Azure Longyue, will definitely repay the kindness you've shown me today. Azure Dragon Moon cupped his hands and flew down. Wang Xian nodded and gestured to Tianzhen and the rest before returning to the mansion. In front of the cave abodes on Lotus Peak, the figures looked at Wang Xian and the rest with fear. The strength that Wang Xian and the rest had demonstrated just now had shocked them. The strength of 3 First-Order sovereigns was extremely terrifying. Even some of the more powerful cities and high-level races were only at this level. Moreover, they guessed that it was very likely that the Water Mage Cave Master had already fallen in their hands. Wang Xian landed in front of the cave abode and took a glance at the Azure Dragon Moon. His gaze swept across all the disciples, and his face was a little gloomy. Among them, there were traitors. He led everyone into the cave dwelling. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked over. You guys enter the cave first. Be careful and be safe. I'm going to take care of something. As he spoke to the leader of the water dragons of the heavenly array, the wings of No Beginning flashed and disappeared in an instant. Arriving at a place where there was no one around, he opened his palm, and a bolt of lightning condensed and flew in a certain direction. Searching for enemies in the void was one of the abilities of the unbeginning sacred wings. In the battle just now, Wang Xian's lightning attacks had already penetrated their bodies. The 4 of them had been attacked twice in a row and were heavily injured. Their bodies also contained quite a lot of lightning power. Unless they had a powerful treasure, they wouldn't be able to clear them all in a short time. However, just to be safe, he immediately summoned Enlai. He ordered Enlai to quickly teleport in a certain direction and then brought him there. Enlai arrived. After teleporting in the direction of the thunder for more than 10 minutes, he returned and brought Wang Xian over. This direction is the Eternal Heaven City? The Eternal Heaven City is involved? Wang Xian frowned as he looked at the direction where the lightning was pointing at. He got Enlai to teleport in the direction of Tianheng City. More than 10 minutes later, Wang Xian arrived at Tianheng City. He raised an eyebrow as he looked at the response of the thunderbolt. The Eternal Heaven City actually participated in this. He thought to himself as he continued to sense with the thunderbolt. Among the 4 experts with radiant masks, there were 3 that he could confirm were experts from the Eternal Heaven City. Looking at the line of defense indicated by the thunderbolt, Wang Xian opened the map and took a look. There were many cities of the 100 Cities Alliance in that direction. He went directly to the teleportation array of the Eternal Heaven City. The 100 Cities Alliance naturally had their own teleportation array. Wang Xian could rush over quickly through the teleportation array. Subsequently, after more than an hour of teleportation and searching, he locked onto 4 cities: Eternal Heaven City, Grand Marquis City, Radiant Guardian Dragon City, and Gathering Sun City. In these 4 cities, Wang Xian sensed waves of lightning power. In other words, he could confirm that these 4 cities were involved. On the surface, the Eternal Heaven City only has one First-Order Universe Sovereign. They should be hiding their strength. On the surface, the Grand Marquis City has 2. Wang Xian mumbled to himself as he set up a Devil Spirit altar with the Sky Array. Under Enlai's lead, he returned to the cave abode on Lotus Peak. Sometimes, it was really convenient to use Enlai for traveling. When Wang Xian returned from the cave abode, he hesitated for a moment before coming to the front of the cave abode. He swept his gaze across the Eternal Heaven Cave Abode. The Eternal Heaven Cave Abode was occupied by the Eternal Heaven City. Forget it. I'll inform Brother Azure Dragon Moon about this. I won't be involved in anything else for now. Wang Xian mumbled to himself. He took out the Universe AI and sent a message to Azure Dragon Moon. It allowed him to focus on investigating these 4 cities. Wang. At this moment, Wang Xian's Universe AI vibrated. He opened it and saw that it was a message from Prime Minister Turtle. Prime Minister Turtle wanted to deploy Enlai. Many disciples of the Dragon Palace had been killed and they needed to be saved. Killed? He raised an eyebrow but wasn't too concerned. It was normal to be killed within the Dragon Palace. Dragon King. At this moment, Tianjin walked over from the side. Dragon King, I have news from my men. In a place within the chaotic continent, there are people hunting them. They are hunting those with the divine dragon bloodline. Tianjin walked over and suddenly said, Dragon which is being hunted? Wang Xian raised an eyebrow and asked. Yes, Dragon King. I checked just now. It's not just Dragon Witch. Other dragon species have encountered the same situation, especially around the 100 Cities Alliance. They don't care if you are a disciple of the ancestral dragon. As long as you have the divine dragon bloodline, they will kill you. I can find some information on the Universe AI. As he spoke, Wang Xian frowned slightly. That shouldn't be the case, right? He took out the Universe AI and did a search. Creatures with the divine dragon bloodline near the 100 Cities Alliance are being hunted. In the chaotic continent, the divine dragon bloodline and some bounty hunters are hunting the creatures with the divine dragon bloodline. The war between the divine dragon bloodline and the ancestral dragon bloodline has erupted. The most terrifying internal strife of the divine dragon bloodline? As long as you have the divine dragon bloodline, you can exchange them for bounty after killing them. Soon, he received a piece of information. Wang Xian's eyes lit up as he read the information. Rather kill the wrong people than let them go? Or is there some other conspiracy? As long as they have the divine dragon bloodline, you can get bounty after killing them? Wang Xian frowned slightly. However, Wang Xian could understand a little. The war between the divine dragon bloodline and the ancestral dragon bloodline had erupted. Internally, other than the divine dragon bloodline and the ancestral dragon, the rest of the divine dragon bloodline were just small fries. It didn't matter even if they killed the wrong people. After all, it wasn't even 1% of the ancestral dragon bloodline. Chapter 34-39. Wang Xian was deep in thought. Now that the battle between the 2 divine dragon lineages had reached a stage where they had no scruples, the members of the Dragon Palace would also be implicated. Although Wang Xian had allowed the Dragon Palace to stand on the side of the ancestral dragon bloodline, it was only on this side. He still wasn't ready to participate completely. This was because a war of this level was not something they could participate in. Just a random second-order sovereign from the Holy Dragon clan would be able to suppress the Dragon Palace. How chaotic! I don't understand why the Sacred Dragon clan and the Ancestral Dragon clan are at such a loggerheads. Is it because of something else? Wang Xian shook his head helplessly. Although his current strength was not bad, there were still some things that he could not come into contact with. "Dragon King, what should we do now?" Tianjun frowned and asked Wang Xian. If it was a war between the ancestral dragon bloodline and the sacred dragons, the sacred dragon powerhouses wanted to kill everyone else with the divine dragon bloodline. The members of the Dragon Palace could even fish in troubled waters and kill the experts of the sacred dragon lineage. But now, it was not only the ancestral dragon's bloodline. There were also many bounty hunters. They wanted to obtain the mission rewards and hunt down the divine dragon bloodline. The members of the Dragon Palace did not know who the bounty hunter was. Moreover, every creature could be a bounty hunter. This made it difficult for him to move forward. In the end, the mission of the 100 Cities Alliance had a great impact. Let the members of the Dragon Palace be careful first. Also, inform Yaki Demon Shah and the rest to bring their subordinates into the Eternal Heaven City, Great Marquis City, Radiance Guard Dragon City, and Gathering Sun City to await further orders. Wang Xian ordered. Also, keep a lookout for the surroundings. It's Dragon King. Tianjin nodded. Wang Xian looked outside and shook his head slightly. He was prepared to cultivate for a while and search for treasures in the eternal river of heaven. Now, it seemed that his plan had fallen through. Time passed day by day. On the third day, Azure Dragon Moon came to pay a visit before leading the disciples of the Ancestor Dragon's bloodline away from the Lotus Flower Peak. They were going to rendezvous with some other experts. According to what he said, they did not counterattack for the time being because they could not contact the Ancestral Dragon leader and some of the Ancestral Dragon's experts for the time being. They did not dare to recklessly counterattack. Moreover, they had yet to find any evidence of the siege of the 4 major cities. Now they gathered together, waiting for orders. The Ancestral Dragon bloodline was somewhat passive. The entire Ancestral Dragon bloodline was already scattered and could not form a powerful force. Azure Dragon Moon bade farewell to Wang Xian. For the next period of time, Enlai continued to search for water lotus flowers. The Heaven Everlasting River had also calmed down. The situation in the outside world was getting more and more intense. The cultivators of the divine dragon bloodline were suffering from terrifying attacks. As the days passed, Enlai's harvest in the Eternal Heaven River became less and less. It wasn't even enough to condense a stage 9 water lotus. As time passed, the battle between the sacred dragon bloodline and the ancestral dragon bloodline became more and more intense. There were even rumors that a powerhouse from the ancestral dragon's bloodline had killed his way into the sacred dragon's lair and an earth-shattering battle had ensued. No one knew the result of the battle, but they must have paid a heavy price. Yamada no Orochi and Demon Fiend arrived with 10,000 Venom Horn Dragons. The birth of the Venom Horn Dragon was very special. Just like the Witch Dragon, there could only be 10,000 of them. However, 10,000 was not a small number. Wang Xian had already sent them to the 4 major cities. Currently, the 4 major cities were rather quiet. The others did not know that they were secretly hunting the strong practitioners of the divine dragon lineage. Swish. After 5 years of peace and tranquility, Enlai appeared before Wang Xian on this day. Dragon King, something huge seems to have happened in the middle of the Eternal Heaven River. When I was in the surroundings just now, I felt a majestic water energy and vitality. Enlai said with a face full of surprise. What's going on? Wang Xian was taken aback and looked at Enlai. Enlai shook his head. Let's go and take a look. In the next moment, Wang Xian appeared at the bottom of the river where the water from the heavens fell under the shroud of Enlai. The moment he appeared, he could feel a majestic energy rushing towards him. This energy was accompanied by intense vitality and water energy. This energy is so familiar. Wang Xian's expression changed slightly as he looked ahead in shock. At a glance, he could not see any living creatures. However, the powerful energy was coming from the center. This energy was similar to the energy emitted by the water lotus. However, it was dozens of times more powerful than the stage 9 water lotus in his hand. It's the energy of the water lotus. Could there be a level 12 water lotus inside? Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he guessed. However, he did not dare to enter it. This made him frown slightly. At this moment, Wang Xian felt a tremor in front of him. A beam of light was surging towards him. He was slightly taken aback and immediately flew upward. When he flew out of the water, he saw a huge shadow in the middle of the water from the heavens. It was a lotus that was emitting a blue glow. The petals were blossoming and it looked extremely realistic. A total of 12 petals. The entire shadow of the lotus covered the sky. The water from the heavens fell as though it was watering this beautiful lotus. Level 12 water lotus. It's a level 12 water lotus. It must be a level 12 water lotus to be able to create such power. Wang Xian's eyes widened and he was shocked. A level 12 water lotus was a treasure that was even more powerful than an inborn treasure. This strange phenomenon definitely had something to do with the level 12 water lotus. There were ripples on the surface of the water. Looking down from the sky, one would realize that these ripples formed a huge water lotus that swayed towards the surroundings. The speed of the water ripples was miraculous. Wang Xian took out the ancient drawing. When he saw the situation on it, he was slightly shocked. The ancient drawing emitted an intense glow. On it, there was a huge lotus that was born in the middle. It formed a picture of a level 12 water lotus. A level 12 water lotus is born. That universe dominator cosmic beast might have been waiting for it to be born. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. He also wanted such a treasure. However, the possibility of getting it was close to zero. Such a treasure was guarded by a universe dominator cosmic beast. And Lai would also be killed instantly if he went over. There was no way he could escape. This is too big of a commotion. I reckon the entire Heaven Eternal River will know about it soon. I wonder how long it will take for the level 12 water lotus to be born. If it takes too long, I reckon countless experts will come over. Wang Xian mumbled to himself as he looked ahead quietly. Chapter 3440. Daddy, Daddy, I'm awake. Daddy, there's a treasure ahead. Let's go get it. In the center of the Heaven Everlasting River, where the water from the sky fell, Wang Xian looked ahead in shock. Suddenly, a little spirit flew out of his body and said cheerfully, "Ha!" Wang Xian was taken aback as he looked at the little fellow in astonishment. "Lingling, you're awake?" He smiled. Wang Lingling, Wang Xian's daughter and companion spirit, had been hiding in his body ever since he entered the inner parts of the chaotic continent. Later on, after Wang Xian obtained the lightning feather and fully integrated the unbeginning sacred wings, the little fellow also began to improve and went into hibernation. Subsequently, Wang Xian's realm improved again and she followed suit. She had not woken up since then. The strength of a companion spirit would improve along with the strength of the host. After hibernating for a few years, Lingling's assistance had already reached the level of a universe dominator. The reason why she had been hibernating for such a long time was mainly because Wang Xian's strength improved too quickly. After all, the little fellow had the body of a spirit and was not as insane as Wang Xian's 9 attributes. "You're awake. Lingling has improved a lot this time. Look at my wings. Aren't they beautiful?" Lingling flew in front of him and proudly showed off her wings. One was of the lightning attribute and the other was of the wind attribute. They were exactly the same as Wang Xian's unbeginning sacred wings. "Oh!" Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and patted her head. "Beautiful, beautiful." A companion spirit grew with the host and had the chance to inherit some of the host's abilities. Obviously, the little fellow had obtained great benefits from its advancement this time. "Daddy, let's go and get the treasure. There's a powerful treasure over there." Lingling pointed to the front and said, "There are treasures over there, but there's also a powerful giant star beast over there. We can't get close." Wang Xian shook his head. "Giant star beast. Let's kill it and eat it." Lingling clenched her teeth and said, "It's good enough that it doesn't eat us." Wang Xian pinched her cheek speechlessly. "But I like that treasure very much." Lingling pouted. Wang Xian was taken aback. He waved his palm and a 9th-tier water lotus appeared in front of Lingling. "How about this?" he asked with a smile. "This is also very good and very beautiful. Did Dad give it to me?" Lingling said excitedly. "You can use it?" Wang Xian looked at her with astonishment. "Yes, it grew on the progenitor mother, and so do I. I can control it." As she spoke, she raised her small staff. The rank 9 water lotus began to shrink and fall onto the staff. Hee, so beautiful. When she saw it, she waved her staff happily and spun it around happily. I still have a rank 9 water lotus. Do you want more? Wang Xian took out the other 4 water lotuses and suspended them in front of her. Yes, Lin Ling wants them. I want to wear them on my head, hee. With a wave of the staff in her hand, water lotuses shrunk and landed on her head. Wang Xian was astonished. 4 water lotuses fell on her body, which could give her a significant boost. A companion spirit doesn't seem that powerful, does it? Is it because of the progenitor tree? Wang Xian mumbled to himself. The tree of life of the fairies was a treasure that was closest to the heavenly Yuan creation rank. However, it was still a far cry from the heavenly Yuan creation rank. A companion spirit nurtured by the progenitor tree would definitely not be comparable to an ordinary companion spirit in terms of potential and ability. Just like how she could control 4 rank 9 water lotuses now. Even though Lingling's abilities were all supporting skills, it was still extremely terrifying. With the 5 elements grindstone and Lingling, it wouldn't be a problem for him to deal with 8 to 9 companion spirits of the same level. I'm getting more and more awesome, hee. Wang Xian couldn't help but laugh. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, Wang Xian sensed an expert flying over from the surroundings. He took a look and saw a cave master from the Lotus Peak. That figure flew over and noticed Wang Xian as well. He stopped in his tracks and looked ahead with a shocked expression. It's definitely the birth of a rank 12 water lotus. Soon, his breathing quickened as he spoke. A rank 6 water lotus appeared in his palm. The energy was exactly the same. Wang Xian took a look and stood there quietly without any action. What a joke! A treasure like the rank 12 water lotus wasn't something they could covet. With that giant galactic beast there, unless an expert from a pinnacle race came, they would die. As time passed, more and more experts rushed over. They looked at the powerful energy coming from the front in shock. Their eyes were burning with passion. However, no one dared to enter. If this energy lasts for a long time, experts from pinnacle races in the universe might really come. After all, it's an inborn cardinal treasure. Wang Xian thought to himself. Days passed. 3 days later, the might of the rank 12 water lotus still hadn't disappeared. Some said that the birth of an inborn cardinal treasure required more time. Many experts had gathered at the center of the heaven everlasting river. More experts were rushing over after hearing the news. On the universe AI, the situation here was also a hot topic. It even overshadowed the topic of the ancestral dragon and the sacred dragon lineage. Buzz, buzz, buzz. On the 4th day, suddenly, everyone felt the sky brighten, accompanied by a special rhythm. The rhythm entered everyone's ears, as if it was a respectful welcome, as if it was the arrival of an emperor. This was the message that the rhythm brought. This is? Everyone's expression changed slightly. They immediately flew towards the surface of the river. Wang Xian moved without the slightest hesitation. When he came to the surface of the river, he looked around and was shocked. A great angel with 12 wings floated in the void, emitting a holy glow. He stared at the position below and didn't move. Wang Xian and the rest were very far away from him. However, they could still feel the terrifying energy contained in him. This was a great angel from the angel clan, a 12-winged angel. Daddy, I sense a familiar aura coming. Lingling, who was sitting on Wang Xian's shoulder, suddenly said, Sush. As soon as she finished her sentence, everyone saw the starry sky above them seemed to be torn apart. A girl with a perfect face and a bow on her back appeared. She was wearing clothes made of branches and leaves. She looked at the 12-winged angel not far away with a calm gaze. When Wang Xian saw the figure that appeared again, his eyes narrowed. This was a great elf from the elf clan. This is a universe dominator expert. A true universe dominator expert. Great angel with 12 wings, arrow of life great elf. Exclamations of shock sounded around them. Chapter 3441. The experts from the peak races have appeared. In such a short period of time, 2 experts from the peak races have actually appeared. That's a 12-winged angel, a true universe dominator expert, the highest existence in our universe. Hiss, is that an elf lord? What a perfect existence. The elf race's arrow of life is the universe's strongest archer, capable of hunting the sun and moon and hunting the heavens and earth. Shocked voices came from the surroundings. Everyone looked at the 2 figures that had appeared. The water in the sky had already stopped flowing, as if it had encountered a terrifying resistance. The 2 figures stood there quietly, giving people the feeling that this was the center of the world. Holy, terrifying, and unbearable. A wave of reverence surged in everyone's heart. That big sister gave me a very familiar feeling. Ling Ling whispered into Wang Xian's ears. Wang Xian nodded his head slightly. You guys belong to the same race. Life Sound Arrow, I want this water lotus. You can't compete with me. At this moment, the 12-winged angel in the center turned to the arrow of life and said calmly, Don't worry about it. Archangel Gabriel, how would you know if you don't try? Besides, the one below has been guarding this place for billions of years. How could he let you take it away? The Life Sound Arrow spirit said faintly. Life Sound Arrow was the great fairy's name. Once the elf race stepped into the universe ruler realm, their surname was Life. If he doesn't let me, I'll kill him, Archangel Gabriel said confidently. He looked around and waved his arm. Boom, boom, boom. The next moment, a large number of angels appeared around them. There were 6-winged angels, 8-winged angels, and 10-winged angels. There were more than 1,000,000 heavens, and there were more than 100 powerful 10-winged angels. Hiss, this is the angel core, a powerful angel core. This is the power of a great 12-winged angel? This is too terrifying. Everyone in the surroundings looked at the million-strong angel army, their faces filled with horror. That terrifying aura made them shiver. 6-winged angels were the weakest, but they had at least the combat power of a universe venerable level 7, and the stronger ones could reach level 8. Every single one of them had the combat strength of a second-order universe sovereign. Some even had the combat strength of a third-order universe sovereign. This was a terrifying existence at the universe ruler level of a peak race. With a wave of his hand, an army of 1,000,000 appeared. However, this was also related to the characteristics of the angel race. The battle angels of the angel race were war machines. It was similar to the peak race, the skeleton race. The skeleton race's sovereign realm experts had an even larger legion. Lock down the surroundings. Kill anyone who dares to approach. Archangel Gabriel ordered calmly. It's Archangel Gabriel. All the angels immediately responded, and under the lead of over 100 10-winged angels, they flew to the surroundings and formed a huge encirclement. Some of the experts in the surroundings hurriedly retreated, their eyes filled with shock. This is a universe ruler level existence? Some experts murmured. Wang Xian looked over and his eyes were also shining brightly. At their peak, those universe ruler level dragon kings also possessed such might. In the starry sky, the ocean gave way to him, and countless experts of the Dragon Palace escorted him. When I kill this guy below, don't do anything. Archangel Gabriel looked at the elf and said calmly. The Life Sound Arrow frowned slightly. Its bright eyes seemed to be able to pierce through everything below it. Why don't you give it a try, and then I'll do something? Archangel Gabriel's lips curved slightly as he spoke confidently. If you can suppress it, I won't do anything. If you can't, don't blame me. The Life Sound Arrow replied plainly. All right, I'll remember it. Archangel Gabriel nodded his head. The rules set between experts would generally not be broken. Moreover, as a peak race in the universe, they would not recklessly get into a conflict. Archangel Gabriel stared below. With a flick of his palm, an archangel longsword and shield appeared in his hands. Are you going to hand over the water lotus to me, or do I have to suppress you? Archangel Gabriel stared below and said coldly. What? In the next moment, a furious roar came from below. Following which, a horrifying tentacle emerged from the water and attacked him. The entire tentacle was huge and exuded a horrifying aura. Holy light slash! Archangel Gabriel wielded his archangel greatsword and slashed at the tentacle. Boom! A dazzling radiance lit up the starry sky as the holy light longsword slashed at the tentacle. The holy light slash cut into the tentacle and a huge amount of blood flowed out. Anyone who wants to snatch my treasures shall die. At this moment, a sharp female voice came from below. Hundreds of horrifying tentacles rushed up from the bottom of the river again. Water droplets shot up into the sky. Every water droplet was as heavy as a mountain as they attacked Archangel Gabriel. Bam bam bam. Archangel Gabriel lifted his shield and the water droplets landed on it with a loud sound. Radiant Sword of Judgment. He waved his arm and the long sword in his hand stabbed downwards. The entire long sword seemed to have grown 100 times bigger in an instant as it descended from the sky. Boom! Below him, a horrifying whirlpool formed and sucked in the long sword. Following which, the whirlpool rushed out and swept towards Archangel Gabriel. You're courting death, stubborn fool. Angel Nation, Angel Battle Song, kill. He shook his body and spread his wings slightly. One by one, the shadows of angels condensed and charged downwards. The whirlpool was collapsing rapidly. Roar roar roar. At this moment, a humongous body appeared on the surface of the water. The humongous giant starry sky beast spanned over 10,000 kilometers. The length of its tentacles was horrifying. They could extend for hundreds of millions of kilometers. This giant starry sky beast was a few hundred times the size of a planet. It waved its tentacles, and the dense tentacles attacked Archangel Gabriel. Heavenly Kingdom, destroy. A shadow of the angel nation appeared behind him and a white light swung towards the tentacles. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The horrifying collision was heard once again. Wang Xian and the rest retreated far away. They were shocked to see the battle before them. Is this the strength of a true universe lord? The repercussions of the battle made them shiver. Get out of my territory, or I'll make you pay a terrible price. The giant starry sky beast roared again and the dense tentacles covered the sky. Incomparably violent. Chapter 3442. The star beast's body was completely revealed, its triangular head staring coldly at Archangel Gabriel. That monstrous aura made everyone feel suffocated. Archangel Gabriel stared at the giant star beast, his 12 angel wings flapping, his eyes calm. Retreat, I want the 12th rank water lotus. He stared at the giant star beast calmly, and his expression did not change at all. I have been guarding the 12th stage water lotus for billions of years, and you want to take it away? The angel clan, starting from today, I'm going to kill one on sight. The giant star beast let out a violent roar. As long as any living being in the great desolate continent reached the universe ruler realm, they would possess great intelligence. There was naturally no problem with speaking the universe language. The astral beast's 3 eyes were filled with killing intent as they stared at the great 12-winged angel. Humph! Even if you're a star behemoth, you'll still have to die for opposing the angels. Archangel Gabriel snorted disdainfully. In the next moment, the 12 angel wings on his back flapped, and he instantly appeared in the sky above the giant star beast. The star behemoth's tentacles also moved, as if the entire heaven and earth were enveloped by them. Boom boom boom. In the next moment, a terrifying collision sound was heard. I can't see anything. Wang Xian and the surrounding experts could no longer see the battle inside. All they could feel was waves of horrifying energy rushing towards them. They're too fast. My eyes can't keep up with them. Looking at the battle before him, Wang Xian's eyes narrowed and his face was filled with astonishment. It was too fast. When Archangel Gabriel flapped his wings, Wang Xian could no longer catch a glimpse of him. The enormous star behemoth was also enveloped by water power and light power. They retreated again and again. Even the angel corps surrounding them immediately expanded their encirclement. So scary, they are so powerful. Lingling whispered into Wang Xian's ear as she shivered. The treasure is right below them. You don't dare to snatch it now, do you? Wang Xian smiled and said to her. I wouldn't dare. Lingling said obediently. Boom boom boom. The battle in the center continued as they watched the vast battle from afar. With Wang Xian's current strength, nothing would be left of him if he entered. This is too terrifying. Is this a battle between universe rulers? I wonder who will win. This battle is too terrifying. I think Archangel Gabriel will win. After all, he is the ruler of the angels. In the surrounding area, all the experts were discussing. The turbulence of this battle could even be seen clearly in Tianheng City. Buzz. Suddenly, everyone felt the sky brighten. A cross of light appeared in the sky. The entire cross blossomed with the power of light. When the cross appeared, the surrounding space seemed to disappear. Only the cross existed between heaven and earth. What is this? A connate cardinal treasure? Wang Xian could sense an unusually terrifying aura from the cross. This cross seemed to be able to judge everything. Connate treasure, cross of judgment. On the other side of the battlefield, the great elf-life sonic arrow looked at the cross of judgment with a solemn expression in his eyes. Every connate cardinal treasure was extremely precious. Even for universe ruler-level powerhouses like them, it was extremely difficult to obtain them. This required opportunity, luck, and strength. Just like now, the cosmic giant beast had been waiting for the birth of the 12th tier water lotus for billions of years. Now, it was still uncertain if it could obtain it. The cross of judgment appeared in the void and descended as though it could suppress everything. You Birdman from the angels. Do you think I didn't make any preparations over the past billions of years? You want to snatch the 12th tier water lotus? Even if I have to destroy myself, I won't let you snatch it away. Ha! 12th tier water lotus, bloom. At this time, a violent voice came from the center. The Tianheng River below was shaking violently. The river water began to change. In the vast area, the river water condensed into a pattern of a lotus. The lotus rose and headed towards the cross of judgment. Seeing this, the surrounding people were shocked. Wang Xian had a strange expression on his face. Mother? A humongous cosmic giant beast was calling itself Mother? The universe was vast and full of wonders. Beast, stop it. If you dare to destroy the foundation of the 12th tier water lotus, I will definitely kill you today. Archangel Gabriel was infuriated. The cross of judgment in the sky descended rapidly, following which angel wings condensed in the surroundings. As the angel wings flapped, they shot towards the center. Bam bam bam. Terrifying attacks came again. On the surface of the river, Wang Xian could feel the water turning red. That cosmic giant beast was injured. From the looks of it, it wasn't a light injury. Beast, scram now. Archangel Gabriel roared again. Suddenly, a long spear appeared above the cross of judgment. The surroundings of the long spear were pitch black, as though it was in another dimension. You actually have an inborn cardinal treasure. You must have been prepared for this. The cosmic giant beast's angry voice was heard. Sacred bone spear. Isn't that Archangel Zhou Ming's inborn cardinal treasure? Since he took it, it seems like Gabriel was prepared. The life sonic arrow of the great fairy frowned when she saw the sacred bone spear. She was at the same realm as Archangel Gabriel. However, the other party had an inborn cardinal treasure, the cross of judgment. This was the reason why she was wary of the other party. They were both from peak races. If the other party had an inborn cardinal treasure, she would definitely be at a disadvantage. Now, the other party had another inborn cardinal treasure. I might really be able to kill this cosmic giant beast? She murmured. Cosmic giant beasts didn't have a cosmos god kingdom. In other words, their gigantic bodies were the cosmos god kingdom. Therefore, they wouldn't be able to escape back to their cosmos god kingdom instantly. Facing the attack of two inborn cardinal treasures, Archangel Gabriel had a high chance of destroying it. Tier 12 water lotus, explode. Rhythm of water, water from the heavens. The cosmic giant beast roared. You're courting death. Archangel Gabriel roared furiously as well. Walala. In the sky, the water from the heavens that shouldn't have fallen fell once again. What was different was that the water from the heavens carried a tremendous force as it charged towards Archangel Gabriel. Ah, you didn't expect this, right? I've been here for billions of years and have established a strong connection with the Tier 12 water lotus. If you want to snatch it away, you'll only get a damaged Tier 12 water lotus. The cosmic giant beast roared crazily. Chapter 34-43. If I can't get the 12th stage water lotus, I'll take your corpse and forge it into a powerful weapon. Archangel Gabriel was infuriated. The 12th stage water lotus was not an ordinary connate cardinal treasure. The 12th stage water lotus could be absorbed or destroyed. It was obvious that the giant starry sky beast had some tricks up its sleeve. After all, it had been waiting for the 12th stage water lotus for billions of years, waiting for it to level up. You want to kill me? Dream on. The giant starry sky beast no longer wanted the complete 12th stage water lotus. It only wanted to take a part of the lotus and run away. Cross of judgment, bone spear, kill. Archangel Gabriel flapped his 12 wings and attacked the giant starry sky beast with the two powerful connate cardinal treasures. On the surface of the water, numerous lotuses bloomed, blocking the attacks of the two connate cardinal treasures. However, the 12th stage water lotus was not fully mature. If it was fully mature, it might be able to block the attacks. But now, it was not fully mature and had yet to be refined. Its power was greatly reduced. The bone spear penetrated the defenses and landed below. A blood-curdling scream could be heard as a humongous tentacle flew out from the bottom of the river. The tentacle had already been severed. Boom! Everyone could only see the water surging as a humongous figure tried to escape. Trying to escape? With the water lotus? You don't have a chance anymore. Archangel Gabriel chased after the figure immediately. Retreat! The surrounding angel army experts roared and continued to expand the encirclement. Up in the sky, the life sound arrow of the Great Spirit made a sound and disappeared in an instant. In the next moment, he appeared at the bottom of the river. With a wave of his hand, the roots flew into his hand. Life sound arrow, is that a treasure that belongs to me? Archangel Gabriel's angry voice could be heard from the front. I didn't break the agreement. You didn't suppress the giant starry sky beast. It's just some roots, not even 1/20th of the size of the lotus. Life sound arrow said plainly. Archangel Gabriel snorted coldly and did not say anything else. He stared at the giant starry sky beast in front of him, his eyes filled with killing intent. The 12th stage water lotus was more valuable than an ordinary connate cardinal treasure. Even if it was damaged, it would still be worth a fortune. Cross of judgment, I want to judge the astral behemoth and behead it. Archangel Gabriel let out a low roar, and the judgment cross connate cardinal treasure shone brightly. He injected a vast power of light into the cross of judgment. To his surprise, the illusory image of a star behemoth appeared in front of the judgment cross. The phantom's head was chopped off by a beam of light and fell to the ground. Ao ao ao. In the next instant, an incomparably miserable scream was heard. Everyone felt a chill in their hearts when they saw this. What kind of attack is this? How could it be so terrifying? Decapitation without any contact at all. Is this the power of a primordial treasure? This strike was very slow, and everyone could see it clearly. This caused their hearts to tremble. Wang Xian was petrified by this bizarre attack. This attack was too strange, too terrifying. It was unbelievable. He took a deep breath and looked forward. Damn it, that space beast isn't dead yet. He took away 2 lotus petals. Chase after him. His strength has already dropped below the universe ruler level. In less than a minute, an exasperated roar was heard. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, the million-strong angel army moved immediately. Swish. Suddenly, Wang Xian sensed a shadow flying towards him. The shadow flashed by. He looked over and was slightly taken aback. This is? Over here. Right at this moment, he felt a terrifying energy attack him. His expression changed drastically as he quickly dodged to the side. When he looked over, he saw 2 10-winged angels flying towards him. It disappeared over here. A part of the astral behemoth's body was escaping in this direction. The two 10-winged angels stopped immediately and radiated the power of light from their eyes. The bloodline of the divine dragon is so strange and pure. What's that on his body? A companion spirit? One of the 10-winged angels fixed his gaze on Wang Xian. He was taken aback for a moment and astonishment flashed across his eyes. Swish! In the next instant he did something that shocked Wang Xian. Flapping his 10 angel wings, he charged towards Wang Xian rapidly. Wang Xian's expression changed drastically. An angel's sword pierced through Wang Xian's body. The pure power of light instantly extinguished his vitality. Baddie! Baddie! How dare you kill my father? Baddie! Seeing this scene, Lingling shouted with bloodshot eyes. Her body trembled and the corpse that was wrapped around Wang Xian disappeared instantly. A companion spirit shared the same heavenly kingdom with its host. Naturally, it could take Wang Xian's body away. That companion spirit? That 10-winged angel raised his eyebrows slightly as his eyes were filled with shock and astonishment. However, he wasn't too bothered by it. He was just a first-order universe sovereign. To other races, he might be strong. But to him, he could kill him easily. Perhaps after a few days, he would forget about killing the other party. As for why he wanted to kill him, it was naturally because he possessed an incomparably pure divine dragon bloodline. Swish! Suddenly, a figure appeared at the spot where Wang Xian's body disappeared. The big elf, Life Sound Arrow, frowned as she looked around with doubt in her eyes. The aura of a half-living elf? No, I didn't sense wrongly. She mumbled. Great void light shackle. No one can leave. At this moment, the light shrouded everything. Everyone who was watching the battle couldn't escape in time. Their bodies froze. Only their eyes could move and their thoughts remained. Everything else seemed to have disappeared. The big elf glanced at Life Sound Arrow and Archangel Gabriel. She stepped into the void and disappeared. Baddie, baddie! How dare you kill Daddy? Lingling must kill him in the future. At the same time, within the Dragon Palace, Lingling was flying around Wang Xian's body. Her little face was filled with anger. From her body, green, blue and mysterious grayish energy entered Wang Xian's corpse. The location of his wound disappeared rapidly. Lingling's art of resurrection. Wake up, Daddy. She tapped the staff in her hand lightly. Lingling's talent, resurrection. Wang Xian, who was lying on the ground, suddenly opened his eyes and looked at Lingling, who was lying beside him with a pale face. Lingling, are you the one who resurrected me? He caressed Lingling's head and asked. Yes, Daddy. I'm tired. I need to sleep. Lingling nodded and replied weakly. Using the art of resurrection consumed a lot of her energy. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.